Greetings everyone, my name is Dave Miller and I'm the Director of Sacred Breeze Ministries, online at sacredbreeze.org, where we offer meditation instructions, spiritual discernment sessions, and support for inclusive faith communities. When I'm in Florida, I attend a church at First Congregational UCC of Port St. Lucie. The pastor there is Reverend Dr. Bruce Irwin, and he asked me a question that may be helpful to anyone during this time of limited public engagement. The question he asked was whether there was anything we could learn from monastic practice, as in monasteries, monastic, to help us to get through these times. Now, to answer this question, I want to first discuss the difference between religion and spirituality. Many people say that they are spiritual but not religious. For me, religion means discipline. If we do something religiously, we do it with a sense of discipline on a regular basis. In general, having a sense of discipline helps people to get things done, which is usually a good thing. Religion gets in trouble when people try to impose their own sense of discipline on others. That really doesn't work. It doesn't work in religion and it doesn't work in life. In fact, it tends to drive people away. So, while spirituality is about awareness and receptivity to spirit, religion is about intentionally setting aside times for being receptive to spirit. Now, this can include setting aside times for participating in a worship community, and it can also involve setting aside times for prayer or meditation, inspirational reading, creative engagement, and sharing our gifts with others. In monastic life, the guidelines of how to live together in a community are called rules. Perhaps the most famous set of rules are called the Rules of Saint Benedict. I found a free access to those rules online at www.ben.edu. So you can look there to find a copy of your own, or they're available on Amazon if you're interested in the history and what those rules look like. The Benedictine Rules include the keeping of offices, which means setting aside 8 times per day for prayer, psalm reading, which, by the way, includes reading all 150 psalms every week, and reflection. Rules like these are not restricted to Christian practices only. Our Islamic brothers and sisters set aside 5 times per day for prayer and reflection. And Buddhist monastic rules are based on the Eightfold Path, which emphasizes mindfulness and meditation as a path to freedom from suffering. So while the word rules can sound rather demanding and put some people off, the word rule, they need not be. There's a concept I sometimes talk about with clients who are going into retirement and have trouble adjusting to the change in structure in their lives, and I call this concept spa life. Now imagine for a minute you've arranged a vacation at an organized spa or retreat. What would you encounter? Well, depending on the nature of the retreat, any given day might include times for preparing and sharing meals, times for personal reading and reflection, times for community activities, for creative expression and sharing. Some retreat vacations include volunteer activities at local communities, as well as outdoor activities like hiking or gardening. The thing about spa life is it's more about attitude than about the activities. As part of the vacation, you may engage in activities that are part of your normal routine when you're not on vacation. But having a spa attitude changes the experience a little. Some of the spa retreats that people engage in include music camps, artist retreats using various media, gardening retreats, yoga, prayer, meditation, and mission voluntary retreats. The options are endless, and in each case, the people are at retreats They engage in activities that they already enjoy or would like to learn about. The difference in location, community, and access to instruction and resources make the retreat special. But so does the attitude of the participants. The spa attitude comes from setting aside a special time for engaging in these activities in a structured manner. It is possible to set aside non-vacation times for your own self-care and benefit, and the benefit of others as well. You can call it a set of rules if you like, or an itinerary, or just options. Whatever you call it, the intention is to set aside time for activities in ways that are special, or even sacred, setting aside sacred times. Now, for example, meals. What might make mundane meals more special? How about a time of gratitude before the meal? Yes, prayers before meals may seem trite and mundane at one level, but depending on your attitude, prayers before meals can help set aside the experience and make it special. How about times for exercise of some kind? Whether simply stretching or walking, yoga or tai chi or calisthenics, intentionally setting aside the time for this activity is not only beneficial, it makes the experience special. How about setting aside a time to engage in creativity? Writing, gardening, artwork, sewing, woodworking. Again, the options are endless. A time to connect and share. A little harder during quarantine perhaps, but not impossible. Think of friends and family you've not seen in a while, and taking time to intentionally write letters, or making phone calls, or emails, or even arrange for a Zoom or a video conference of some kind. How about volunteer activities? Contact local churches and shelters and nursing homes, and ask if there's any way you can engage creatively from a safe distance. Things like preparing meals or putting together grooming kits, providing fresh flowers once a week are just examples. So with that in mind, I want to share with you what my own spiritual discipline looks like, in the hopes that it may inspire something similar in your life. So I like getting up early and having some quiet time with my coffee. While sipping coffee, I often engage in psalm reading from Scripture, from Judeo-Christian Scripture. I then move to a time of meditation, then exercise of some kind. I tend to alternate Tai Chi and calisthenics with walking or bike riding. After a shower and breakfast, I like to write in the mornings because I'm most creative during the mornings. In the afternoons, I like to engage with people, whether with friends, family, or clients. I try to make the effort to connect with others. After dinner in the evenings, I usually spend time with my wife watching some TV or reading. Sometimes I take a walk in the evenings. And then before bed, I often engage in more intentional psalm reading and prayers to close my day. Do I do this every day? No. This is not meant to be an oppressive, rigid thing. This is something to fall back on, to provide options. Sometimes life calls, and my time is spent repairing things that have been broken around the house. Sometimes I'm traveling. Just whatever demands my attention at the moment. Sometimes I forget about all this discipline stuff, and sometimes for a week or more I might forget about all of it, and then I remember and I say, aha, life is hectic, life is strange. I need to recenter myself. And having thought out my structure or my rule, I have options to consider that can bring me back to center and ground me. And that's important during both hectic and stressful times and during the tedious, stressful times in quarantine. So imagine for a minute that you were designing your own home spa retreat experience. What would that include? How could you set aside mundane times like bathing and meals and make them a little bit special? Say a prayer, light a candle perhaps. What creative gifts could you develop? Would you like to explore physical activities of any kind? How about meditation or time for prayers? Time for contemplative or inspirational reading? How might you connect with others? Life is sacred and so are we. Every human being is sacred and worthy of love. Everyone is given in creative gifts, and everyone has the opportunity to develop and use their creative gifts to the benefit of themselves and others throughout their lifetimes. But sometimes we forget. Sometimes life is too hectic, sometimes life feels empty and not worth the effort, and everyone has days like that. Having thought out rules or options near at hand can be helpful. And living in a world where we have little control, setting some intentional time for self-care and reflection and reaching out to others can help us to feel a little more in control, which can help reduce stress. So have a blessed day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.